Hey everybody, Retrofied here, and today is day 14 in this month-long marathon leading up to the Switch 2's launch. And for today's video, I want to talk about how the Switch 2 will exceed so many expectations. So if you guys are excited about the Switch 2, make sure to leave a comment below telling me what you're excited about. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so you don't miss any more of these videos in this month-long marathon leading up to the Switch 2's launch. So without further ado, let's start talking about what I actually mean by this. So I feel like a broken record every single time I say this, but the Switch 2 is not just a bigger Switch. This is a new console generation. So it's gonna sell like a new console generation. I've seen so many people say that it's gonna flop, we're gonna have another Wii U moment, nobody's gonna buy it, and it's just gonna fail horribly. It's probably not. People were saying to drop the price and that they wouldn't buy one during the direct, but when pre-orders went live, they sold out instantly. And I feel like not enough people who hate this system realize that there are millions of people who love Nintendo and love the Switch and just want the second one. I feel like a lot of these people just project their own feelings about the Switch 2 and kind of like tell people that it's such a bad price, it's such a bad system, why are you buying this, why are you buying this? Just because they don't like the system. I've seen this so much in the comments especially. But like I said, the Switch 2 is a new generation. I said this in older videos too, but it's like going from a PS4 to a PS5. Not necessarily in the spec wise, but it's another generation of consoles. So next I wanted to talk about what we're going to actually see with the sales of the system. Because as a Nintendo fan, that's what you want to do good. I know it sounds so weird to really want like a billion-dollar company to succeed, but when you're buying their systems and buying their games, you want them to do good so that they come out with more games and more systems and more just stuff for your Switch 2. So I think definitely on the launch of this system, we're going to be seeing so many more sales than the Switch 1 on launch. The Switch 1 did really well on launch, but it still had that negative effect from the Wii U. People didn't really want to jump into the next Nintendo system, but the Switch 2 doesn't have that. The Switch 2's negative effect is that the price is high and the games are too expensive, but it doesn't have that Wii U effect on it. Nintendo themselves have come out and said they don't have enough Switch 2s for everyone who signed up to get pre-order notifications all the way back whenever the direct happened. And I'm pretty sure over like 2 million people signed up for that. And that is insane that they don't have enough Switch 2s. I'm sure it was more than 2 million, but that's what I heard. So next, I want to talk about how this will exceed your expectations. I feel like a lot of people haven't done any of the demos, not even me included, have done any of the test demos that Nintendo has had themselves, because it was like a lottery system, you know, you don't necessarily get a chance to go, but nobody has actually like held this system in their hand and played it, except for people who really want to Switch 2. I hope that Walmart or Best Buy or some store puts these kiosks in the store before the Switch 2 comes out. I know it'd be risky with theft, but it would get so many people to actually see the system and hold it in their hands and like play Mario Kart World. And I feel like that itself would sell so many more systems, because I really want to see the Switch 2. I know that it is just so much bigger than the original Switch, but I don't know that because I've never held it in my hand. Seeing the size comparisons doesn't really like match with how it's going to look in my hands. So I feel like that is the same thing for a lot of people, that you don't want to get one just because you don't know how it's going to feel in your hands, how it's going to play, just anything really about it. So I feel like when it comes out, if they put these kiosks in the store, it's going to sell tremendously well just from people passing by it or looking at it. But from everything we've seen about this system, it looks so solid. They're definitely going with a different material than the original Switch 1, but everything about this system just looks so well put together. You can definitely tell Nintendo knows their way around modern handhelds, because it shows that they had so much experience with the Switch 1 that they took the Switch 1 and perfected it. And I don't see enough people talking about this, how it is a perfected Switch 1 that is as good as a PS4 Pro. Alright, so changing the subject to what I think is going to be coming out with the Switch 2 and what I think is going to be just happening in its entire lifetime. So this holiday, we're definitely going to be getting a new Mario game. Whether that be Mario Wonder 2, whether that be Odyssey 2, or just some new 3D Mario game, we're definitely gonna get a big holiday title, because they haven't announced one yet, but we're gonna get one. I've said this in older videos, but I 100% think that we're gonna be getting a direct either like June 1st or super late May, for Nintendo to show off some of their holiday titles or some of the titles that are releasing next year, so it gets more people to want to buy one. And you might be thinking, well, the pre-order's already closed, everyone already pre-ordered one, but GameStop has said that they will have Switch 2s on launch day. Best Buy has said that they'll have Switch 2's launch day. So if you can't get a Switch 2 because of the pre-orders, then you can get a Switch 2 on launch day if you just wait outside and get one. I'm going to be making a guide pretty soon about how to get one. It'll be the best way possible, so I hope you guys tune in for that. But if you really want to Switch 2, you're willing to spend that $500, then you can get one on launch day. So I feel like because of this, Nintendo is going to want to market some more games before it actually comes out, because they haven't hooked everyone into it. They want to have that last kind of push. You know, they got the pre-orders in because they had the first direct, but now they're gonna have a second direct to get the actual sales in. So then, like I said, this holiday we're gonna be getting a new Mario game, and then I think next year they're gonna kind of go with a little bit of laid back titles, but also some big hits. I think we're gonna be seeing a bunch of games in some familiar series, maybe a Splatoon 4, maybe a Mario Maker 3, but we're gonna be seeing some older series being redone for the Switch 2. So I don't know what games will be coming out, you know, in 2 years, but I think we're going to be getting a Switch Lite sooner rather than later this time. I think we could be getting a Switch 2 Lite even next year, or maybe in 2 years. Because the Switch 2 Lite came out a couple years after the Switch 1 came out, so I feel like we're going to be seeing something kind of similar to that, but I think it's going to be quicker, just so they can get more people to buy a Switch. If they come out with a cheaper, a bit smaller model, kind of like how Xbox has the Series S, it isn't as good as the Xbox Series X. It's basically just an Xbox One that can play next gen games. So I feel like they're kind of gonna do that. I think that instead of them having just a smaller model, I think they're gonna make a lower end model for people to get. Not launch day, because they haven't announced anything yet. They're not gonna wait to announce another system until like it comes out. But I think we're gonna be getting a Switch 2 Lite either next year or early 2027, because this would be way sooner than the Switch 1's Lite model, and I think that's what Nintendo kind of wants to do. So after the Lite model, what did Nintendo come out with? The OLED model. So do I think that we're going to be getting an OLED model? No. Simple as that. We're not going to be getting an OLED. I know a lot of you guys want an OLED model, but I don't really think that we will be getting one. The screen on the Switch 1 was bad, and they wanted to kind of have that refresh. And I understand that, but the OLED kind of just seemed like a cash grab. It wasn't any better whatsoever. It just had a better screen. And the screen was better by so much. I remember when I was unboxing my OLED, I was just so astonished by the screen because I had never seen it in person before.
The screen is huge. Way bigger than, the original.
But I genuinely don't think that we'll be getting an OLED model, just because of the fact that people kind of were upset when Nintendo did it originally. So I think instead of getting an OLED model, we'll get a model with an OLED screen, but it'll be a pro model, or it'll be a slim model. It'll be something different. They're gonna have that mid-lifetime refresh. Every system has one. The DS had the DSi, the PS4 had the PS4 Pro. The Wii kind of had the family edition of it, but so many of these consoles get a mid-life refresh, so we're 100% going to be getting another model of the Switch 2. It's just a matter of what that model is. So wrapping up, I truly do think that the Switch 2 will exceed all expectations that people have set for it. It's going to do tremendously well, and if you don't think that, then, I mean, you're wrong. I hate to say it like that, so blunt, but it's going to do well whether you like it or not. I know it's probably one of the most hated systems at launch, but a lot of people want one, myself included. So if you guys are excited about the Switch 2, make sure you leave a comment below telling me what you thought about this, what you hope comes out with the Switch 2, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we still have so many more days to go. I said this in yesterday's video, but I'm coming out with a guide on how to get a Switch 2 on launch day. So if you guys haven't gotten one yet, make sure you tune in, probably within the next couple days, because that'll be a really good video for you guys. So I will see you guys tomorrow.